Welcome to Unmasking Social, where we talk about building real friendships and meaningful connections without masking who we truly are. I'm your host, Sharon Baum, a speech and language pathologist with an expertise in social thinking and how it relates to autism and ADHD, specifically with our teens and tweens. Let's dive in. In so many parts of the world, including Pakistan, neurodivergence is looked at as something to be stigmatized and something not to really open up about. Supports are limited, parents keep their children at home, and people are fearful that if they expose their child, they will face danger. Today, we have an amazing advocate whose courage transcends so many other people's bravery. Sunnia Khan is on the podcast today as a psychologist in Islamabad, Pakistan, to discuss her hopes and dreams for her future, her children's future, and the greater future of Pakistan, where neurodivergence is uplifted, strengths are uplifted, and individuals can grow to be independent members of the society. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Unmasking Social. Today, we have a special guest from Islamabad, Pakistan. We have a wonderful psychologist, Sunnia Khan, who has extensive experiences with the autism population, but not just the autism population. She also works to counsel families of individuals that have dyslexia, that have ADHD, and in her experiences, she has also supported the individuals using very holistic models, also has a lot of experience with the BCBA and collaborating with individuals who administer BCBA. And her mission is to really empower the voices of families, specifically parents in Pakistan who may be a little shy or reserved to get the services that they need for their child. Sunnia, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much, Sharon, for having me. And it's a pleasure to be on this podcast. Thank you so much.
Of course. I'm so excited that I have somebody here, another international individual who's not shy to speak about what's really going on. So if you could just take us all on a journey back to how you started your work as a psychologist, what steps led to that, and what really motivated you or continues to motivate you to work with this neurodivergent population?
Okay, so my journey starts when I started learning about psychology, that it's a study of mind, feeling, behavior. So I started having so many thoughts about why there are so many experiments done on behavior. So I started exploring what is behavior and how we can reshape it. Then after my master's, my actually life took so many twists and turns. And then I end up working with special need and I got a job in special needs school. When I got that job, I observed that in that classroom, multiple disabilities were sitting together and they were having lots of difficulty, and only one goal was like there to teach them. There was only one goal made for me to teach them. So I realized that everyone has different abilities, but due to maybe lack of awareness and lack of interest, I must say they are made to sit in one class, and even they are
No worries. Take your time.
even they were supposed to do things that they are not capable enough for doing. So that actually pushed me to read more about why they are doing such things. And I started learning about ABA, how it works, and how I can ease them, and how I can provide better things to them, how I can modify their behavior. Then I did my RBT coursework, and that was a life changing moment. Then I thought that now I understand that this is autism, this ADHD, and this is learning disability. And now I can make different goals for them, and I should work with them that can be helpful for their life skills, for their academics. You know, I then started realizing that this is not just my job, this is a journey, has a purpose. So this is how I started my journey with these disabilities.
Yeah, it's so interesting and so motivating for anybody who's listening. The fact that you were able to really hone in on the skills of the individuals that you were observing. A lot of times we observe these individuals, but we overlook certain things. And you saw, wait a second, they only have one goal. And I've seen this before. Actually, one time I saw a child that had 42 goals, which also on the
Yes.
other end is a little extreme, right? How are we working on these 42 goals? And then you start seeing that maybe there are things that are being repeated, but then on the other end, sometimes things are not, that are overlooked. But related to this aspect of things being overlooked and you realizing, wait a second, also the children aren't being given the tools that are needed because again, here we have a model of inclusion, right, where we want them to be included in the environment, but sometimes they need a little more support. And so
Yes.
they were being asked, you said, to do things that they weren't really capable of doing yet. It's a goal to achieve in the future. And so were you able to speak to the parents about this and collaborate with the parents at all? Or was there pushback from the parents? Because I know before this podcast, we did speak about the stigma that is really strong right now, even still in Pakistan.
Oh, yes, stigma still exists in Pakistan and in Asian countries. The thing is that it is like taken like it is due to the mother that the kid is having these issues. She's totally blamed for having this type of kids. Then there are myths about like this is due to the parent done something bad in the past. That's why they are having a kid like that. Yes, there is a thought that maybe he is possessed with something. So these are the stigmas that are still existing here in Pakistan. And how I actually cater them is like I always ask them what they are going through. I listen carefully what the journey they have gone through before that. I once talked with a parent and she said that my in-laws are blaming me for the kid because I did something wrong. That's why my kid is like that. So at that moment, I can't give her like, okay, you have to do this, you that. No, this is really wrong. I just listen carefully what she is going through. I give parent coaching and I come up with what you can do rather than what has happened, why it's happening. So I give them like better options how to reduce these things and how to overcome your emotional breakout with the kid who is having like neural having
Neurodivergent.
neurodivergent, who is a neurodivergent. So this is kind of a very big journey, and still some of the areas in Pakistan are underlooked, underdeveloped. Like we are like living in cities. We have all the opportunities where practices are going on, but they are quite expensive. But if I compare with rural areas of Pakistan, they are just kept inside home. They don't have any facility in life. Even they are not invited at any function, any event in the family because they are thought that they are just considered at like how we are going to take care of them. They are going to ruin our event. They are going
Mm.
to say something, do something like any unwanted behavior in front of the family, what we are going to. So they are considered as shame. So I'm kind of very concerned about some teens, tweens, even adults in Pakistan, as there are no facilities over here. And I feel like government should take care of them and provide some financial support. So the families, the parents who are with them don't get overwhelmed that how they are going to um, like live their life after they are not here. So these are the stigmas which I've talked, and they're they still exist.
It sounds like you're way ahead of your time, though, in the place where you grew up, in the culture that you grew up in. It sounds like you're so many years ahead. You're kind of on the same page as where we are here. Somehow you were able to travel in time ahead and see what was going on and how this isn't helping the individuals, the shame, the stigma, the parents not getting help. And then there's no prep, you said, for after the parents go. Now, what are the children going to do? And they haven't actually built up their strengths and abilities, which you said some of them have these amazing strengths, have great interests, right? And you work with them internationally, which we can get to in a moment, because you can see how things can work out when you really foster their abilities rather than shield them, because it might be difficult. The behaviors might be difficult, like you said, at a party. It's shameful. It's unfortunate to hear, but I think it's important for the world to hear that in many countries in the world, this is still what's going on in terms of individuals who are neurodivergent. The neurodivergent movement is not something that has picked up in every country yet, right? But then there are people like you, Sonia, who are just big, huge change makers that are saying, no, I want to get the message across. I want people to know what's going on and I want change. And so with that change, I know comes a lot of work. I know that you have spoken, like you said, to many parents. And as a psychologist, before this call, you mentioned now you work a lot more internationally, right? And so you're seeing how those neurodivergent folks are succeeding. So, how are you able to support the neurodivergent individuals internationally? You said you counsel not just the parents, you mentioned also you do some couples counseling, you also counsel the child, you really counsel the whole family. So, how does that work in terms of what are some of the supports that you give as the psychologist? Because I'm the speech language pathologist. Sometimes I don't even know, what's going on with the psychologist in the session.
Okay, so when I start working with any individual, I make sure that the whole team is with me, like BCBAs, SLP, any academic teacher who is providing a facility to them. And even with, like, I want the parents and the guardians with me. Whatever they are doing, we should have only one goal at a time to proceed. And this is much easier for the family to take that and to apply that at home. It's easier for me too, that I know that these commands the other providers are giving, and he is proceeding. There are much more chances of accomplishment than failure. Only one goal, two goals at a time can work much better. And coming back to your question about how I give counseling and how, so firstly is I always prefer listening to parents, because once I started talking about how is everything going with one parent, and the parent said that you are the first one who is asking me that how I am doing, and
Wow.
I was so shocked that we actually stop asking questions that how the parents and the guardians are doing with the client or with neurodiverse kids. So I start working with like listening so many things, how you are scheduling the day, how you are providing, are you working, why you need, what are the challenges you are facing with. Then parent counseling is very important, parent coaching throughout the time, then psycho education. I don't use fancy terms parents, because that is like if you are talking to me and I will use fancy terms, you can understand that, but the
Right.
normal people can't. They
Yeah.
can't understand that. Okay, so it's very complicated for them, and it's very difficult for them to interpret that. She was talking about this is okay, I will Google it. So I use simple terms to give them commands, whatever they need, like whatever counseling they need. If they need it for the kid, if they need it for the family, if they have like ADHD, what task. I always breaks bigger tasks into smaller steps, achievable steps with them. And then I focus mostly on strength based learning. I always say to them that find out the strengths, find out the main like prominent things what your kid can do. Maybe he has a very good memory. Maybe he
Mhm.
is skilled to cook. Maybe he is very good at arts. So you have to focus more on his strengths rather than saying like he can't do it, he can't get up. So just focus on what is he capable of, he or she is capable of, and then start working towards that. And later on, I will share about whom I'm working with and how she is improving and financially getting very better in life. So these are the things how I work with the parents.
We forget that parents are going through a major struggle, right? They really are struggling because they really have this family dynamic. And sometimes the individual with autism is obviously a huge part of the family dynamic. And maybe they don't know how to kind of incorporate that child with the other children that they may have, or even if it's just the child on their own. So it's great that you speak to them about what's going on in their lives. What are they dealing with? And you mentioned something about, are they working? Are they not working? What are they doing? Right? Those kinds of things to see if there are any, added stressors, it sounds like, that, can be impacting. So it's great that you start with the parents, and then it sounds, then you go on to the individual themselves from that strength-based approach. So you want the parents to also be aware first and foremost about the strengths and interests. What can they do, right? What can they do? Let's not focus on what they can't do right now. Let's have one goal, which I think is wonderful, one goal at a time where everybody's on board, right? Kind of, for the most part. And then you start working with the neurodivergent children, right? So then, or teens and tweens. And so then when you work with those, it sounds like after you work with the parents, you start working with the neurodivergent teens and tweens, right? Themselves individually.
Yep.
Am I correct? Okay.
Yep.
So then that's also, it sounds like you use that strength-based approach. So how are you able to get through to these neurodivergent individuals, especially during those critical teen and tween years? I mean, as you know, on this podcast, we speak about those years as being some of the toughest years, just in general, where people are finding their identity. So how are you able to counsel them in a way that they're able to feel a little maybe more empowered, more confident? That's a tough one, I know.
Well,
That's always a tough one. The teens and tween, the
this
middle school
is
years,
basically,
hardest year.
yeah, this is cultural based. So I will say it like in Pakistan, it's like quite difficult, right? It's very difficult for the typical kids to understand that and to give counseling and provide some vision to the parents. For normal kids and contrary, it's very difficult for neurodiverse kids because there are some stigmas related to that as well. That kids like teenagers, typical growing teenagers, can't do certain things and they are prohibited to do certain things. Coming back to your question, like how neurodiverse kids are treated, I have to give lots of counseling to the parents that you have to give some time to the teens to go and teach them how they can release whatever they have, like whatever they are thinking. This is a big transition from childhood to like pubic time. So it's quite hard as well as like it takes time for them. And I started counseling them from the 10th year when the kid is growing. I start counseling them that she or he is going through a phase and again like hormones are going to change. So
Yeah.
you have to like teach them different things, do not judge. And if there are some of the episodes in any event in any area, you have to like give them all like um, um, verbal cues that you have to leave that area and go to washroom and certain like that. Emotionally, they are going through a lot of things. They can't channelize their energy in anything because they don't know how to deal with it. We have 5% um, autism that is verbal, but they
Mm,
do not know what to say and what to do, how to ask for it,
right.
where to see what is going on. For typical growing, it's very easy. They can search online and they can satisfy whatever is happening in their body with their hormones. They are like, they get the answers very easily. But for neurodiverse kids, it's really hard here with the stigmas related to that nothing can be done in front of, and even they are not supposed to ask their parents. So I focus more on parents in this way, that you have to give some certain time to them, teach them how their body is going to transform from one state to another. They are going from like childhood to pubic time, how they have to take care of the body, how they have to protect it, how their personal hygiene is important. So everything is taught to the parents. And then with like certain things are taught by the provider. Like I always have like very close pairing with my teenagers and with my tweens that I always open up with, like, whatever is happening to you, you have to tell me what is going through. So sometimes they are very close to me and they tell me everything, but with parents, they are like shy, you know,
Yeah.
they are not talking to them very openly. But
Right.
with me, they are like, okay, this is happening to my body and what I can do. And so with visual things, with the visual cards, with lots of information, with internet, social media, I have to tell them that this is going through your body and this is how you can do certain things. Yeah.
I think that's phenomenal because I think even here there is a lack of education given in that area. Of course, we have some health education and there are classes provided, but a lot of individuals, especially like you said, the
Yeah.
neurodivergent teens and tweens,
Uh,
have no idea.
yeah, I want to add one thing. There is no education over here. Over there, they are educated. They're educated about their body, their sexual need, and everything. But here in Pakistan, that's a taboo, and we don't have like education systems like that. So
Right.
counseling can help, but we can't openly say that, okay, this is now you will teach, we are going to learn about this thing. No, we
Right.
can't. So yeah.
So it's not part of the education system yet, but right, we never know when it can be part of that. Like you had said, that in another 10 to 15 years, I remember before this podcast, things may look very different in terms of inclusion and education. But I think even here, so many of the neurodivergent teens and tweens that I worked with had trouble understanding that, yeah, their body was changing and they were experiencing all these different things. And it's great that you're able to support them in that way because even the individuals that are not neurodivergent sometimes don't understand that they're going through a process where things are changing and they're going to feel differently. They might feel a little more dysregulated or they might feel a little bit more anxious. And then the hormones, like you said, it's like a it creates a whole nother person just and so you're giving them these visual supports and you're helping them kind of see, it sounds like, well, this is what's going on. Your body's changing, your body's evolving, and you're basically validating that, yeah, they are having a more difficult time, which is great because I ask this question a lot on the podcast about the teen and tween years, and how to support them. And I think this is a very great tool in terms of really explaining and breaking down, okay, this is a different time in your life. This is a unique, special time in your life, but it's also a challenging time. And this is why. That counseling seems to support these individuals who
Yes,
in
very much.
Pakistan are not even getting any information about them. And the parents don't have education on that either, right?
Well, they are shy. They're
Yeah,
really shy about that and they don't want to discuss that. But
sure.
as I told you that at the age of 10, I started talking about it. Like,
Really?
are you giving him education about that? What's about like, because the girls are they are getting their periods at this age.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to open up, right? We have
Yeah.
to say that because if it's like one day she gets up and she has it, so it's like, what's happening to my body, why I'm getting that? So it's better to um, lure their curiosity and
Yeah.
teach them that this is your body's going to be after some time. So please prepare your mind. Please prepare that you have to go and you have to go at any like safer place and you have to tell anybody whom you trust, like your mother, like your father. But there are like lots of things that if the like female neurodiverse kid, she can't talk to the father about it. There's like lots of things
Right.
involved in that. So she only can talk to females in the family. The male is just going to talk to the males only. They can't
Yeah.
tell their mothers about it. So there are like lots of things, lots of questions, lots of things involved when you start talking about it. So it's a long discussion, and I always give education and start talking about it before the time comes. I feel like it's
That's
very
great.
important. It's very important.
Mhm.
It can't be gone with only one medication or something like that. There's not a magic in it. It's a prolonged thing, and teenage is very, very, very. It's very hectic, or what do we say? Like
Yes.
it's very.
Chaotic. Yeah.
It drains
A lot
you.
of chaos. Yeah.
Yeah, chaos is going
Yeah.
on, and you don't know what is my personality, how I'm going to be, and even
Yeah.
the typical kids are like that. So it's totally opposite, like totally opposite with the ones who are nonverbal. They can't explain. So with them, it's a new chapter, new phase in life, and they have to cope up with that
For the
smoothly as
non-speaking
much.
ones? Oh, so you're
Yes.
saying for the not because you, primarily work with a lot of the
Yeah.
individuals with the autism
Yeah.
that have the social communication challenges, right? But then
Yes.
sometimes
For
you work
them,
also, yeah,
yes,
non-speaking as well. Yeah.
non-verbal, that is like very difficult, very difficult.
Mhm.
Because with
Yeah.
their behaviors, they can tell you that I'm going
Yes.
through that, but verbally they can't.
Exactly. So
So
they're
for
communicating through
that,
their
yes, for that we have to educate the parents that behavior is a form of communication. You have to
Mhm.
see the patterns, triggers, what is triggering them. Maybe it's like maybe they are going to have like episode, or maybe like anything can trigger that, like ABC model, like incident,
Yeah.
anything can trigger that behavior. Maybe
Right.
it's like body changes, maybe they are going to have a any need, bodily need, or any need that is
Yeah.
that they
But I
need.
think that's amazing that you can frame it like that. Behavior is a form of communication.
Yes.
And I think that a lot of people are still struggling to understand that because when you see a behavior, you just want it to stop naturally, right? Because it seems like it's interfering with, if they're in a class, the individual, it can interfere with the whole class dynamic. Or if they're in the family, like you said, it can interrupt a celebration that they're having or, a family function. But in especially with our non-speaking individuals, they are communicating through the behaviors, but a lot of times people aren't necessarily looking at the behavior as a form of communication. So I think it's so important that you establish that and that you mention on this podcast because behavior comes up a lot on this podcast and sensory regulation. And the overarching theme is that people are trying to communicate through their behaviors. And
Yes.
that's why and that's circling back though to the girls for a moment, because girls are very vulnerable, especially here, but especially in your part of the world specifically, they're vulnerable in other ways. Like you said, they can't really speak to the men about what is going on in their lives. They have to only speak to their mother. And then I've also found that over here, girls also face that extra layer of vulnerability. The neurodivergent teens and tweens, like, for example, the boys have it hard too, but in a different way. Whereas the girls are trying so hard to fit in a lot of ways. They want to, a lot of times, do whatever it takes just to get that one person to validate them. The one girl, that one individual that can make them feel really special. And so I found that they can be really more vulnerable to going along with maybe someone who's trying to take advantage of them. I don't know if you see the same thing over on your end. I can only imagine that there's another layer of vulnerability here because, like you said, even at the time when they're experiencing this, the prepubescent years, right? They don't even know how to really speak about it so much. Is there that extra layer of vulnerability?
Well, yes, there is. The thing is that yes, they are very vulnerable, and you have to teach them that this is like someone is talking to them, someone is close to them. Like the parents are very, very concerned about this with the typical growing woman as well as with the atypical, because no one is safe. Even
Right.
not like even boys are not safe. So you
Right.
have to teach them each and every day that this is the safety measure. Do not talk to the strangers. Do not sit with any person who you don't know, and do not let them touch you. And these are your like safe areas. They are your
Yeah.
body safety, so you don't have to like, if someone touches you, if someone says something to you, and just yell and tell anybody. But I would say that there are many cases that I've seen. There are like in families, if the girls are neurodiverse, then the family members take advantage of them. And this is very hard for me to say that because now I'm representing Pakistan, but there are many cases, and you have to listen to those stories.
Emotional topic, and it's something that I feel like in general, you care so much about these individuals. You're so compassionate towards them. You're trying to help everybody. And at the end of the day, these terrible things happen, and people who are neurodivergent or anybody with a disability, I've observed, are such easy targets
Yeah.
in many families
They're
around the world.
they're really easy targets because they think that they are not going to tell anybody, and it's really easy for them to make them do whatever they want. So they are vulnerable. They are way vulnerable. And it's like, as I am talking, I am living in a city. We have all the facilities over here, but I am looking towards and I'm talking about those people who don't have any facility.
Right.
They don't have any facility of providing things. They, they don't have basic necessities of life. So I am focusing more on them. There are many stories that are like uncovered, and some of the parents just say, okay, please don't tell anybody, but she has gone through these things. She has gone through the. So there are traumas related to that. And as I said, I don't have, like, I'm not going to just counsel, and I'm not going to provide services to just my client. I am going to counsel the whole family that please, if something happens, say it. Because after that, it's like pedophiles are there. They are continuously, they have a pattern of doing that. They will like, if he can do this with her, then he can do lots of things with other people, like other women. So you have to come up forward and tell that stop it, and be a best advocate for your kid. Stand for her. Whatever happens, I am with you, and take ownership. She or he is your kid. Take the responsibility. Now this whole thing is started. So I will add one thing, that government has to take crucial steps towards this awareness. That I'm very happy that Punjab government has made so many schools and open schools in this district, but it will take like 15 years more to develop and get awareness about this topic, like neurodiversity and autism, ADHD. Like, everything is important. Parent counseling, how we are going to provide services for them, like social awareness, community gathering for parents, for the kids, better opportunities for neurodiverse kids in Pakistan, even identification card for them to be identified in social gatherings, or whenever they are moving around, they should be like recognized, okay, he has some ability. So social awareness is very important. Secondly, I would say that, yeah, I would like to share one thing, that recently a kid got missing, and he was teen and he got missing, and the parents were on social media, they were searching for him, and he was found dead because there's a lack of awareness in everybody. If you can see that some person in Pakistani community, he can't speak or he can't understand you, they are labelized as insane. So they are not like they are not considered that he has some disabilities, and he has some, he is limited in speaking, he has like limitations. So no one helped him, and he was found dead. So this was like a traumatic incident in Pakistan. So I don't want this to go a long way. I want the government to think about, like, these people are sitting in home doing nothing, but just like parents are thinking about, okay, he is with us, he's doing nothing, and we have to provide him as much as possible, and after we are gone, nobody, who is going to take care of him?
Right.
So I feel like this is the major responsibility of our government, because if something is recognized at the government level, people are people get aware of these things. Social media involvement is very important. Social media should get some campaigns regarding this. Even we have like lots of societies over here, like every society should build a community system, parks for them to come and enjoy their life. Even
Yeah.
there should be a counseling session for parents, like every month. like how to deal with these emotionally challenged people and how to decrease their overwhelmness while working with neurodiverse kids, because they are
Hmm.
so much overwhelmed. They're frustrated with their life. Like what how we are going to cope up. There's a still that cycle goes on every day they are with their kids. They are doing the same thing, and they they end up thinking like why it's happening every day, why it's me. So proper counseling is very important. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you really have such a great pulse on what's really going on, and you really uncovered what's going on in cities outside of your own, which is amazing that you really know exactly what's going on, and you really want to support and help. And it seems like the way that you counsel the individuals is from a level of comfort where they feel comfortable sharing experiences with you that normally they wouldn't feel comfortable sharing because, like you said, anything that you share will be a stigma on you. And so it's the first level is to feel comfortable sharing. And so this is a very emotional episode. And for anybody who's listening, I think a big takeaway is that it's important to really look at what is going on with the family. What has happened? What have they experienced? And in your case, you're uncovering that a lot of these families have undergone a lot of trauma. And we speak about this also, the trauma piece, where you cannot do anything before you acknowledge trauma. And in my experience, as a speech language pathologist, I happened to study psychology in my undergraduate, but I never was a psychologist. But I always saw that some of the individuals I was working with, I wasn't getting a full picture of what was really going on. Some of the families maybe felt embarrassed. And because of that, there were so many things that were happening to the child or the teen and tween in terms of maybe behavior, or maybe they weren't able to participate as much as they wanted to, but there was something else going on that they were struggling with because of something that happened in the past. And so, Sonia, it sounds like you're doing a lot in that realm in trying to deal with that trauma. So, like, when you think about these families and the trauma that they've endured, you said groups, monthly meetups can help. You said there are other things also you suggested are that can support the families as they work through the trauma. Am I wrong to say that step number one is to really work through that trauma and stigma and shame?
Yes, work through it. Something that is done in the past is just done. Now you have that girl or boy living with you. You have to make them live their life. Whatever happened, like that was the past. Now live this moment and make better options for them in the future. Make better things for your family to cope up with that. And yes, for future, just make sure that your kid is really safe. As we talked about vulnerability, they are vulnerable, but you have to be very conscious in future life that if one time it can happen next time. So be very conscious about that. Yeah, this is how it can decrease in any culture.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the thing is that no one is accountable for that because there are not proper things in Pakistan that, if a rape has happened or if anything related to rape is happened, so how they are going to make evidences of that. So there are stronger bodies for that. So I
Those
will never
systems are
say that. Yes, I will say that there is like this is not the fault of individuals. This is government gap because right now we are living in this century and we still lack lots of things at government level. Yeah. So yes,
yeah.
trauma. Yeah. This is
Yeah.
how they
And
can cope.
right. So the systems are just not in place yet. And people are not held accountable for things that they do to these vulnerable individuals. And that's where you come in. You know, you're a voice, you're a mouthpiece. I know when we spoke about what you wanted to talk about on this podcast, you said first and foremost is to empower the parents and the families of Pakistan so that they can speak up for themselves because a lot of them don't feel like they can, right? Is there a message that you have, a really strong message that you have to the parents of Pakistan? I know you've shared a lot of information of what they should do. If you could have one message that you can share out with them, what
Well,
would it
I have
be?
lots of messages, but I will.
Share all of them.
Yeah.
Share all the messages because this can be applicable to anybody. The messages that you're sharing, this can be applicable to anyone that's struggling from
Uh,
shame and stigma and trauma.
Yes, my message to the parents is firstly, make your kids as independent as you can in their self help skills, in their emotional state. Make them as independent as you can. Make them financially independent that you don't have such responsibility on your shoulders. So I will share that, yes, I'm very happy to share my client's progress that I'm working with her from the last 9 years. She has issues in many areas, but she is very good at making beads, jewelry, that strength. And with collaborating with the parents, I asked them if she can sell them
Huh?
online. Now she is on Instagram selling her jewelry. She made very unique jewelry. I haven't seen anything like that. So
Wow.
she's selling that. She's financially stable. She buys her own clothes. Is anything what she wants. She has her own mobile phone. Now she's totally independent. She's not dependent on the parents. This is what I vision. That's my vision for every individual, every family, that please make your kid independent. See the strengths. Don't see that what he can't do. See the strengths. Maybe he's a very good cook. Maybe he is very good at expressing himself. So let him speak. Make some channels, start a podcast like you, and he can speak. He can ask lots of questions to others. So these are the things like they can do. Secondly, for parents, please try to arrange some of things for you, because you are as individual as anybody else. I know you have a bigger responsibility and you are heroes that you are taking care of neurodiverse
Yes.
kids. You are just ignoring yourself. So please take out some time for yourself. Cherish little moments. Gather your strength and come back to your neurodiverse kids with positive energy and give them best. I feel like if you are overwhelmed as a parent or a provider, your kid absorbs your energy. Like, for example, if you are not in a good mood and you are just like doing all the thing in rush, you are overwhelmed, your kid absorbs that. And he also shows tantrums because the mother and father is not having good time
Right.
with each
Mm-hmm.
other, with them, because, they are going through a lot of things at once. I am a mother of two kids. They are typical growing, but sometimes I get overwhelmed. I just need space to go, and I just
Of course.
need my own time
Some
for
self-care.
that.
Yeah.
Yes, for self-care, for just thinking and analyzing the whole day, programming the whole day, scheduling the whole day. I need some time. It is like totally same for the neurodiverse kids parents, that please take out time for yourself. Go drink a coffee. If you are not meeting some people, like you're missing some gatherings, go meet them, socialize.
Mm-hmm.
When you will socialize, your kids are going to socialize. And then
Right.
acceptance is the you. The family members who are not accepting them, they will start accepting you because
Mm-hmm.
you are introducing them with others. So this is how you can do things for yourself and for your kid. Then what I wanted to talk about.
I know you have so much. There's so
Yeah.
many ideas that you have. Like, if people would just listen to you in Pakistan, I feel like so many things could change. Even the beat story that you just shared, I think that's just such a
Yes.
testimony to how independence is such a word that's thrown around. Like, make them independent, make them independent. What does that really mean? That's what it means. It means that this individual who was really good at beating is now completely financially independent because she's
Yes.
selling these things that she makes. So she
Yes.
doesn't rely on her parents at all. That's such a great example of just being completely independent. People say, let them be independent. What does that mean? Look at this
I-
girl. That's an example. But then you also mentioned a lot of other things. One of which stuck out is how you have to also take care of yourself and also fill your cup, because how can you show up for other people if you're not filling your own cup? And some parents, obviously, especially in cases where they're home with their kids all day, um, making sure that their needs are met, sometimes are ignoring, like you said, their own needs. And so it's hard to show up for other people when your own needs are not being met,
Yes,
right?
that's true. So yes, these are the things I want to tell them. As I said, that empowerment comes with one major aspect, that is government taking care of all the things. Still, we are privileged to be in cities, developed countries, sorry, developed areas.
Yeah.
But I'm talking more of like rural areas and underdeveloped areas of Pakistan, where
Hmm.
there are no facilities. Private practices are really, really, really expensive. So government has to take care of the things. Like financially, they also have to support the kids who are like above 30 years, because we have a majority of
Oh,
neurodiverse individuals who don't
really?
have any facility, who don't have any teachings, who don't have any therapy done on them, and they are
Yeah.
just um, like they are just placed in a room where they are just kept like a prisoner, and they don't have any life to live, and they're just like they're thought like they are just dependent, and they are just having like why they are in this world. The
It's
family
yeah.
thinks about that. They are in there just a responsibility, additional responsibility on us. So we have to take care of that as well. Inclusion is very important.
Yes.
Awareness, social awareness is very important. I will share one recent incident with you, that what happened, like I and my kids were at a playground, and one autistic kid was there, and he was sitting on the top of a monkey bar, and he was watching my kids, and he came down and he started playing with my kids. And then the provider came, and he very, very scared. He was very scared, and he said he can't talk. I said, I know he has autism. And he was like, this, okay, she knows. Telling very honestly, that kid was very happy playing with my kids, because I never said to my kids that this is an issue, that is, you can't play with certain kids. If like, I never teach them, because
Right.
inclusion is very important. Like, acceptance is important. I let them play when like till the time he was there, and he when at the time of leaving, he was crying because he wanted to play more with my kids. No
Oh,
one else was playing, and my kids were
oh,
playing with them. So my younger daughter asked, why mama he's crying? I said that he just want to play with you. So you have to educate not only yourself, you have to educate your kids, your new generation, for
yeah.
acceptance, for empowerment of those individuals.
Well, yeah,
If we
yeah.
will create such environment of acceptance, then it will be easier for their family and for themselves to survive in this.
Yeah. I mean, that's a perfect example of inclusion, and your children are lucky to have you because you're walking the walk. You're not just saying, okay, this is what needs to be done. You're actually showing them by not showing them the differences that other people have. You're just saying that everybody's a child, right? You're not showing, oh, this one's different, and you're allowing them to engage with others. And everybody's just kind of hanging out together, which is exactly what inclusivity is. And you have so many ideas, Sonia. You're so brave also to just want to speak up. I know sometimes it's really hard to speak up, especially within your own culture, because sometimes it feels, at least for me, almost like, oh, wait, am I not appreciating what I'm being given? Or are people going to come after me and be upset with me and angry that I'm talking about my culture in this way? But it sounds like what you really just want is for your culture to just improve in areas of inclusivity. You just want them to bring it a level up and just upgrade themselves, which leads me to like my final question, which is, where do you see, with all your ideas, which are amazing and can really support all neurodivergent individuals and their families, where do you see Pakistan, and specifically these areas that are a little more difficult to access, in 10 to 15 years, if they
Well, I want to see.
follow your guidebook? If they follow your guidebook, obviously, right?
Well, if they follow these guidelines, then I see that there will be a bigger change in specifically in Pakistan.
Hmm.
That, yeah, I feel like there will be a bigger change if we start accepting, if we start educating, if we start
Right.
establishing better laws. Everything will get better. in 10 to 15 years. Yes, that is what
Amazing.
I am hopeful and I'm looking forward.
So it seems like you're advocating so much for the people of Pakistan, for the parents, for the children, for all the areas that are underserved. And you're one person. And I really hope that there are other Sonias out there. Are
Yes.
there many other Sonias out there that are going to go out there and that are also fighting and advocating for the needs of our neurodivergent individuals?
Yes, there are many, many of them. As I said that there are lots of people working and there are lots of private institutes that are running. There are many people and they are more educated and professional than I am. Lots of work is happening in Pakistan. I would say that there are like many Sanyas out there who wants to bring change in Pakistan. They have altruistic behavior, are providing services with free of cost. There are lots of people. There are lots of people. I feel like after some time I can vision that Pakistan is going to be free of these stigmas and awareness is coming. Yes, I feel like that.
Inshallah. Inshallah. Yes. Yes. I think I can feel it too. Just the energy that you bring to this is, and what we've spoken about before we even recorded this podcast. I know the hopes that you have, and I see that things are changing even based on other people I'm speaking to around the world that are not in the Western world and that are part of a country that has these stigmas. But it seems like no matter how much people try to force it away, neurodivergence is coming your way. Like, that's it,
Yes.
it's coming your way because there are so many people like you speaking out. I mean, I just want to say, Sonia, this was a very emotional interview. I know at some points both of us got teary eyed. I think it's important to share those things, but I think it's just so brave of you that you're able to do this, that you're able to fight this good fight just because you want a better world. I think your kids are so lucky that they're seeing their parent modeling this for them. And then they're able to also be inclusive of other people because they're seeing you, just like you said, the parents are the model for their children in general, for social too. And it's just the compassion that you have as a psychologist that you really want each of these individuals to really achieve whatever goals they may be. This is applicable to anybody in the world, to any family that's struggling, that feels shameful, that feels hurt, that feels like they can help their child. Sonia's here to tell you that's not true. You can help. And in my experience, Sonia, and I don't know if you've had the same experience, but parents can be actually the fiercest advocates. They're the ones that when
Yes.
they rise up to the challenge and they have their voice come out, they are fiercer than any of us put together.
Yes. Yes. They're just like lions and they are just like they are going
That's
to
it.
advocate for their kids and like they can do anything. They can do anything. They can do at any level to protect them. But yes, anything is possible if you think and when you have awareness, when you have all the platforms, when you have social media, you can do anything for your kid, understanding, for teaching, for providing. And I must say that if like there are restricted resources for certain parents, like I talked about, who are not even privileged to take the services, they can start working at their home with their
Yeah.
kids. They can do whatever is right before them. They can teach them self-help skills. They can teach them how to talk, and yes, I remember one of the examples from Margaret Buman, Dr. Margaret Buman, that
Uh-huh.
she said that my my mother has like she was very particular about the communication, that she used to give her prompts every time what to say next, how to greet, how to behave, how to socially accept, like how to shake hand. So these things are very important for your kids to like give them prompts every time, whenever you socialize, whenever you go out, give them prompts how to behave, how to socially interact with people. Like they are really shy when they are outside. So you can always give them prompts, you can give them confidence, go out, meet people, communicate, and there are like limitless things you can do with your kid.
I like that
And
you brought that up, that
yeah,
there are things you can do at home, even if you
yeah,
don't have
yeah,
access to the services. It
yes,
sounds like every interaction is an opportunity. Every
Yeah.
interaction is
And
an
now the
opportunity to model.
social media is so fast. You can find anything on internet and you can teach your kids. There are like lots of languages you can get, like how you can help your neurodiverse kid, how you can teach them at home. So you can find out those things and you can apply that at home. So there is no way to say that my kid is incapable of anything or he can't do anything.
Right.
You have to be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Consistency is the key to progress, right? So you have to
Yeah.
be consistent with the routine, with all the tasks you are teaching him, like how
Yes.
to eat, and I always say that ABA basically is a motherly instinct. Kid is not doing anything. He can't feed from a bottle. You give alternative behaviors, like alternative things, like you pour milk in spoon and you make him drink that. So these are alternative behaviors you are giving them. So you have a motherly instinct. You are providing everything for your kid. So you can explore things for your kid to,
Curiosity.
yes, explore things, explore your own limitations, that how you can teach a single thing to your kid.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to pay for the fancy private institutes. You are the best teacher, because if God has created you as mothers, you're the best teachers, right?
Wow. If I love that. I want that. That quote's great. If God created you as mothers, then you are what?
You're the best teachers. You can
You are the
teach.
best teachers if God created you as a mother. I think that's fantastic. I think everybody needs to believe that. If you were a mother or you are a teacher, right? Or you are helping any child, are you are the best person, right? That you can really help your child. And it's so great that you're able to also provide strategies for people who can't afford the services on this podcast. It just speaks volumes, Sonia, to the fact that you're not trying to promote yourself. You're trying to help people. You're trying to get the word out. Hey, this is where we're at, and this is what we're going to do, and this is what you can do if you can't access the services. But inshallah, in due time, you will get those services that you need. And to anybody listening around the world, just remember that you can be the biggest advocate. Like you said, God gave you as a mother or a father to be the best teacher for your child. So like you said, it could come from the parent. The support is very much helpful, but even the parents on their own. But Sonia, you're doing such amazing work. I actually found you originally, I believe, through LinkedIn. I always like to end my podcast with asking where people can find you and follow you. I know you have a great practice that you're doing internationally. I know that you also have a presence on LinkedIn. Is there any place where people can find you if they want to contact you or get support from you?
Yes, I'm available on LinkedIn. I am on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. Just search my name, Sunnia Khan, and that's going to pop up. And yes, I provide international services to international clients as well on different platforms like Fiverr, Preplay,
Mm-hmm.
Upwork. And yes, it's really easy for anybody to reach me. I'm
Thank
always
you.
available and I give free consultations. If you need them, I'm there. I will give you time and everything. Whatever, on any extent I can do work for you, I can help you with it.
Thank you so much, Sonia. I have such gratitude that you were able to come here today, give me your time, and really open up and be vulnerable about all these difficult, challenging situations, but at the same time, be so hopeful about the future and what greatness is to come in Pakistan, in your culture, and also around the world.
Yes, sure. Thank you so much, Sharon, for having me on this podcast. And that's my first podcast.
Yay! I love it. I love it when people say that. I've had some others that said it was their first podcast.
Yes, this was
Amazing.
my first podcast. I was really scared. I thought that it's going to be like, oh my God, how am I going to speak? And you made it so smooth. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Thank
much for,
you. Thank
you're
you.
just a very kind and very cooperative host. And I wish you best of luck for this podcast, for your future,
Thank
and for
you.
the next year. Yes, next
Thank
year
you.
coming.
Thank you so much, Sonia. You're such a ray of light. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us on Unmasking Social, where we neurodiverse advocates and those who support them explore how real friendship begins when we start showing up as ourselves. If today's episode resonated with you, please share it with a friend, leave a review, or follow me for more conversations that provide information on neurodivergent ways of thinking, communicating, and connecting. Until next time, keep staying social.